Chip and I are here trying to put our heads together regarding a really vexing problem for gardeners, Verticillium wilt. We will try to fill you in as much as we can and tell you how we deal with it and how we try to cure it. When you have existing trees, they sometimes don't like being landscaped around or re-landscaped around, and they'll show you their disdain for it with reactions that aren't positive. In this case, we did the ultimate disservice to it. We dug it up and moved it, and that could be at the heart of why we started to have problems with it. So this Japanese maple looked good for the first couple of months, and then as we got further into the season, it was showing classic examples of Verticillium wilt. We look for the conditions of the tree, the condition that the tree is growing in, and then we look at the fact that some of the branches are dead and some are dying. That's very telltale for Verticillium wilt. Other things make a tree die completely. And it's also then some of the branches looking unhealthy with yellowing of the leaves. You can see these olives, really classic looking symptoms of Verticillium wilt with the yellowing and browning leaves and parts of the tree becoming brown and parts of it looking okay. Verticillium wilt isn't that simple to diagnose. In this case, it's more an elimination process. If you know you're on a tree that commonly suffers from it, like a maple, and then you see mysterious dead branches, you put two and two together. Then in my case, I consulted with an arborist, someone else that's seen more Verticillium wilt than I have, and we concluded that we're 90% sure it's Verticillium wilt. Really the only way to diagnose it unequivocally is to take the infected part of the tree, so a branch that looks dead or half dead, and take it to a lab, and then they can use that infected limb to grow out a fungus that they can identify as being Verticillium wilt. So that's not a very practical thing to do, and that's very rarely done. Verticillium wilt is kind of a mysterious disease, and mysterious in the sense that there's no known cure for it. And you can Google it online and you'll see no known cure. There are ways of trying to deal with it. My own way, I think, is different than almost anything that I've read about. And this is founded in my deep-seated belief that there's no better way to cure pest and disease problems than through the soil. And that life in the soil, particularly complex life, where you're building all kinds of beneficial microorganisms in the soil, is more powerful than almost anything else in terms of healing plants. And so we immediately go into almost like we're trying to revive a tree. So very similar to those videos where we're reviving a sick tree. So we use lots of blend, lots of penetrate, maybe earthworm castings, and we do that more often than we normally would. It's important to go into fast action, do some pruning, and unfortunately, the pruning isn't necessarily how you would like to prune it. You have to prune it based on what's dead. If you look at our prior video where I pruned a green Japanese maple, I could just look at the structure and prune whatever I want. In this mature tree, we couldn't do that, and unfortunately we did the best we could, and we came up with a little bit of an unusual look here because we had to prune out all the infected wood. We did that as soon as we were aware it was a problem. We got rid of the infected wood, and then we went to work building that soil even more than we were previously. In this case, they had flowers all around them and a lot of water right up next to the trunk of the tree. So we recommended that those flowers be removed and that the trees be pruned. So you can contrast the photos where we had infected trees with Verticillium wilt. Those have all now been pruned. I'm standing in front of one here that's been pruned. And then we took out the flowers. We don't want it to be so wet in the summer when it's hot, and we want to care for the soil more appropriately. So we're going to infuse the soil with life by using our blend and our penetrate liquid biotiller. It's not completely out of the question that a tree can recover from Verticillium wilt. It does happen, but usually we don't know why. And it's also possible that a tree can die from Verticillium wilt. So In this case, we just thought it was important to move quickly, feed that soil, build it up as much as we can, and then see if we can stabilize it and get it to put on new growth. And it looks okay, it doesn't look great. You can see there's some more dead wood since the last time we pruned it, so that should be pruned out also. When we have these chronic and sometimes mysterious diseases like Verticillium wilt, I always rely on our products and any other products I can come up with to build the soil. I personally think that's the best way to combat these problems, which have no known cure. So I use the blend, which is a combination of Optimize, Maximize, Nourish-biosol, and then I drench it with Penetrate liquid biotiller. And I do that frequently, like once every couple of months, and every time I have an opportunity I try to build the soil. I might even use earthworm castings, and that combination will combat Verticillium wilt as effectively as anything there is, and I believe many times overcome it. I will link all the products in the description below. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions about Verticillium wilt, and we will provide our input to help you.